Okay, this is a video to show the replacement of a derailleur cable. This is a 1974 Raleigh Record. Now, probably what happened here was the derailleur got too hard to shift, and so to shift it, excessive pressure was applied on the derailleur cable, and the end of the derailleur cable snapped. And the end of that derailleur cable has this little shaped pill on it. I'm going to be using this book, Glenn's Complete Bicycle Manual from 1973. It shows a little diagram of that type of stem mounted shift control lever assembly. And it's going to be a matter of just loosening this and then feeding the new cable in. The new cable will not go in by just sliding it in. It has to be loosened before it will fit in, okay? And therefore we're going to have to cut off this type of cable. Is a derailleur cable that's designed to fit either type. You cut off the one you're not going to be using. Okay, the first step is to remove the old cable. That's not even listed in the book because it's kind of obvious. So this setup has got an adjusting barrel here to adjust the tension. It's got the lock nut here, which I'm going to take off completely, and then I'm going to have to wiggle this off, so I'll use paws because I need two hands on that. Okay, it occurred to me that I was not going to be able to pull that off because the cable goes through it. Once the cable is pulled out, I could take that off, although at that point it's not needed to come off. I would either have to pull this cable through, which would be rather difficult because of the fraying on the end, or what I did instead was I cut it and then pulled it through this way. Now, I used this cable cutting tool, this Park CN4. I inherited this, and it's got curved jaws, which makes it really nice to clip the cables because you don't end up with that fraying on it. So it seems pretty good. Okay? You can see when it cuts the cable there's no fraying. So now I'm just going to pull out this cable. Okay, it's just going to be straightforward. Okay, now I'm going to cut off the barrel type that I'm not going to be using. And I'm going to use the cutters because I don't want this to be frayed, because I'll have to be able to feed that through holes that are small, just slightly larger than the diameter. Okay, that really came out nice and clean. I'm very impressed with that tool. Now I will feed. I'm going to loosen this, and then I'm going to feed in that end of that cable. Okay, I just unscrewed the tension nut, the adjusting nut, and you can see these are the pieces. Now, you can see that on the back of this, it has a cutout that's designed for this piece to go in. And when this is being operated, this ball has to rotate. So aside from having the derailleur properly lubricated, a teeny bit of lubrication should be put into there so that that ball can rotate, because if it can't rotate, that can cause too much stress at that point. And that's exactly where this one broke. And the manual, Glenn's manual, does say to put some lubrication in there, but I'm going to add that after I have this together. I'm just going to put a drop in there because I don't want to get it all over the place. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this on. Okay, I put that in and I attached the lever and I fed the cable through there. Now I'm just going to attach the washers and the nuts in the order that they came off. Okay, I just tightened the washers on. One of the washers is dished, so you want to make sure to put that on the same way that it came off. Okay, and it's dished, you know, it sticks out towards you. Okay, now I'm going to take the cable. I'm just going to be reusing this cable, and I'm just going to feed this through it, and the cable goes between here and there. It doesn't need any other end ferrules. Okay. Okay, I fed the cable through the housing. Now I'm going to feed the cable through that, and then through this housing in the back. Oh, I didn't have pause. Okay, I did put the cable through there, and I just put on that nut. I'm not going to tighten it now, I'm just putting it on. Okay, I should say the derailleur is in the lowest gear. Okay, that puts the least amount of tension on the cable, and I have the lever pushed all the way forward. The idea is to produce as much so I can pull this through as far as I can. Okay, now I'm going with a pair of pliers. I will pull on this, and then I will tighten it, and then I will get into the adjustment process. Okay, I already did the I bolted it down, but before you do that, you want to make sure that all of the cables are fully seated in their ferrules, or whatever you call that housing, because it'll affect the adjustment. Okay, they all seem fine. I tightened this down. Now I can cut this. They say to leave about 1 inch, which seems fine, just in case you do need a little bit more. And with these cutters, it seems rather easy to just put it in and you just snip it. It's incredibly easy to end up with a nice cut. That's really good. Now I can put a cap on here if I have one, and I can adjust the derailleur with this adjustment. If I absolutely need to, I could obviously readjust it here. So I'm not going to readjust it as part of this video. Okay, this was just to put the new cable on, and it seems to have gone on fine. I do have to put a little bit of lubrication, 1 drop up there, okay, because it did say to do that, and I don't want that to snap again. I don't think that's probably why it snapped, but I'm going to do that. Okay, I just added the smallest drop that I could right into that hole. I just used the 3-in-1 oil. And I just put the smallest drop I could. I hope I, didn't end up lubricating the friction fit. If I did, I'd have to try to take it apart and dry it out. Okay, but we'll just see how it goes. That's all for this. Thanks.